Welcome to Dr. Drew Live. Our phone number is 888-373-9502. Got an interesting hour coming up. We're going to be speaking with Mark Bunker, Gareth Kales, is that how you pronounce the last name? Kales, and Tory Christman. They are either part of an organization called Anonymous, which has been protesting the Church of Scientology for some time, or themselves having been church members that have sort of, what do they call it, gotten out. And I actually don't have a very strong opinion about any of this, so I'm just interested in what's going on here. I don't fully understand it. I do have intolerance of two things. I have intolerance of cults, but I also have intolerance of paranoia. So if people are just being paranoid about these people because they're in a cult or whatever, or they make them feel insecure, I don't know. I'm on a fact-finding mission. I'm very interested in all this, though. It's a really interesting topic. Again, the number here is 888-373-9502. So we're going to go from this Texas compound conversation to talk about another cult. We're going to talk about Scientology. And I'm going to go on a little fact-finding mission here and talk to people who are critical of that organization. I don't have a strong opinion. I have opinion about coercion. I have opinion about restriction of personal freedoms and rights. And if indeed that's going on, then I'll have opinion about these people. But I don't care what people believe necessarily. I have a problem with paranoia. And if I find that our critics here are in fact paranoid, I'll have a problem with them too. So we'll see. Back with them after this. Welcome back to Dr. Drew Live. We're going to go on a little fact-finding mission here today. We're going to start out by talking to Mark Bunker. He's a television producer, former radio personality, and he's been a critic of Church of Scientology. He runs something called Xenu TV.
What are you here for?
My name is Mark Bunker, and I'm here because...
I didn't get your name, I'm sorry.
Mark Bunker. I have a website called xenutv.com, and it's a place where you can watch video from around the world of different broadcasts from America, from England, from Germany. Okay. Folks who have explored the criminal activities of Scientology. Frankly, you can believe that Xenu stuffed you in a volcano and blew you up 75 million years ago, and that's acceptable to me.
This is nothing new.
Yes?
Let's ask you, what do you really care about?
What do I care about?
Do you work?
I care about a woman who was trying to leave Scientology, who was locked into a room for 17 days in Clearwater, Florida, in the Fort Harrison Hotel.
But why
in
are you
those 17 days, she lost 40 pounds, was covered with cockroach bites, and died.
Okay, but why are you here?
That's reason enough.
That is Mark Bunker. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So was that Tory Christman, the other?
That was my very first encounter with Tory.
Tory is going to be on this show in about 20 or 30 minutes. And tell us how you got involved with something called Xenu TV. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but laughing, but I love your statement there about how you don't care about whether people believe, and they're free to believe. If Xenu stuffed in a volcano 75 million years ago, it's fine.
Right, yeah. I mean, people have the right to believe that.
Yeah.
I believe I have the right to think it's silly, but I'm not going to stop anyone from believing in it.
However,
I feel that people should have all the information when they get into Scientology.
And what is
these
that?
Are things that are hidden away.
What do they need to know?
Well, first, they need to know that it's all building up to these upper-level, top-secret material that deals with an evil intergalactic overlord named Xenu.
Well, I recommend people watch the South Park episode because it's all there.
Almost exactly right.
It's on your website too, on Xenu TV, right?
Yeah.
That episode.
Yeah.
I laughed my butt off when I saw that. It was, and flashing at the bottom of the screen while they're telling you the mythology, it's flashing up there. This is what they actually believe,
right?
Which is kind of funny.
Here's the tricky part about it, though, because if you talk to the rank-and-file members of Scientology, they will tell you, no, that's not what they believe. And for most of them, it's true, because they haven't reached that material yet. And until they do, they're not allowed to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
They are told that they will catch pneumonia and die if they're exposed to that material without being prepared.
Interesting.
And being prepared in Scientology terms is a slow indoctrination into how Scientology thinks. Your reality is being stripped away from you, and it's being replaced by L. Ron Hubbard's reality.
Mm-hmm. So it's a mind control technique.
Yeah, in essence. If you were to just walk into a Scientology center and say, well, what do you believe in? Well, we believe you're stuffed into a volcano and you're covered with dead space aliens. You'd say, okay, thanks, I'm leaving.
Right.
So instead, when you meet Scientology, they'll tell you, oh, it's completely compatible with any other religion. Here, we can help you with your life. We can improve your marriage, your relationship with your kids. We can help you make more money.
Do they? Do they help with things like that?
They do have courses.
But, I mean, are people helped by this organization? I mean, ultimately, you know, people are allowed to believe what they want, but if something works for somebody, we shouldn't necessarily be critical, should we?
Well, we don't have to be critical about stuff that works, but we do have to be wary of the fact that this is a business cloaked as a religion where they're going to hard sell you these courses, get you on the bridge to total freedom, as they call it, and really take over your life.
Let me just, again, I have lots of questions. Is it different than EST or LifeSpring or what was other kind of programs that were like that?
My understanding is EST actually evolved from Scientology. It was a former Scientologist who started that and used some of L. Ron Hubbard's principles, and he was viciously attacked by Scientology as what they call a squirrel, someone who takes L. Ron Hubbard's technology and alters it. But there is a little bit of Scientology basis in some of those programs.
Interesting.
And I would say that if people want to, you know, follow Scientology and believe in L. Ron Hubbard, they certainly are welcome to. There's a big movement outside of organized Scientology called the Free Zone. And those people are people who believe in Hubbard, but they think that the current management of the church is corrupt. And they have gone off to continue doing their auditing, and this is Scientology's form of therapy. And they deal with Xenu and all this stuff too, but they aren't harming anybody. They aren't causing disconnection in families where Scientology will systematically break up families if one member is really hardcore into the group and the other one is hesitating. Well, in Scientology's world, they say just, get rid of them. Cut them off. I interviewed two dentists in Chicago, a married pair who were defrauded out of $100,000 by Scientology. And the husband started to be disaffected. The wife really was hard into this stuff. And they told him, listen, you've lived millions of lifetimes before. You've had millions of husbands in the past. You're going to have millions of husbands in the future because they believe in reincarnation. So dump them.
Do you have any personal experience with this group, with Scientology?
No, I was never a member.
And what got you?
I think it's kind of outrageous what they get away with.
What got you on the warpath?
Well, I hate to think of it as a warpath. It really is just kind of an interesting combination of some of my fascinations. Science fiction.
You always
Hollywood,
liked.
and cults, all kind of gathered together in this one group in a unique way.
Right. Were you ever a member of a cult or anything yourself?
No.
It was interesting the way Tory was trying to spin it back on you. I'm not trying to do the same thing, but I'm just curious about motivation. And she was trying to take the conversation away from questions about Scientology, which she didn't care about, to try and indoctrinate you.
Right. Well, absolutely. L. Ron Hubbard said, always attack, never defend. And if you watch some of my other videos, you'll see that a constant refrain from the Scientologists are, what are your crimes? Come on, Mark, spit them out. You must have crimes. What are they? It's because L. Ron Hubbard said that anyone who criticizes Scientology is a criminal, and all they have to do is dig up their crimes to silence them.
Have you actually been attacked by the organization?
Yeah, I've had my house picketed. I've had a guy come after me with a hammer, and I was arrested in Chicago while I was trying to interview those two dentists I talked about. They had hired two off-duty police officers to wait for me, and in the 2 hours prior to me showing up outside their building with the dentists, they had been telling these officers what a horrible criminal I was, how dangerous I was, how I was going to, shoot up the building or whatever, and they whipped these officers into a frenzy. So by the time I walked up to the front of the building, and I wasn't going inside, I was just going to shoot a little bit of the interview outside the building. These cops came running out of the door between the two dentists, grabbed me by either arm, and arrested me in like 30 seconds on a public sidewalk for trespassing. And it cost my boss like $50,000 to defend me. And the jury found me not guilty in 25 minutes because I was not guilty.
Wow.
But, I mean, this is the length that Scientology will go to.
Do you think that some of the problems with the organization,